Hello, good evening, good afternoon, all the things. How's everybody today? Um, Tried to make some proper adjustments to the sound a little bit, just some minor tweaks, so please let me know if things sound weird or off or too loud, too quiet. But welcome to Paint Fumes, Thursday night live stream. No, Monday night. I know what night it is. I know what day it is. I'm just fooling myself. Anyway, I'm Lynell Ingram. I am the artist of Paint Fumes, and I will be working on this mixed media piece tonight. I started 2 streams ago with just doing the watercolor on my lady character here. Last stream, I started adding in some of the paint and other elements. And since then, I did go back in and kind of finish about what I wanted in the inking here on these shapes coming, like sprouting around her. So that's been done. I did some minor adjustments also to her face. And yeah, I think, there we are. Today, I'm going to start, Ever said hello. Oh, are other people also doing live streams besides me? I don't even know what's happening in the world. Music real loud. Okay. I'm on it. Okay. Is that a little better or more adjustment? What do you think? Let me know. Of course, I can't hear it while I'm streaming, unfortunately, so it's just whatever works or whatever. And still loud. Okay. We can definitely knock it back more. All right. I put it way down. We're at -24. Good. Yes. And I'd also adjusted my volume a little bit because I can see from my audio things I'm like peaking a little bit, so that might be part of why it sounded louder too. Okay, hopefully that's better. Doesn't help. I've been struggling with a bit of a migraine today that hasn't been wanting to work with me. Better. Okay, still competing. I'll put it down further. Okay. So I really knocked it back. Hopefully that's better. But yeah, I'm going to start with doing... Alright, awesome. Perfect, I'll take it. I've got some little pieces that I've kind of pulled out earlier that might or may not work for some things to incorporate in here. So I'm going to kind of decide. Oh, thank you about that. Migraines are just part of my life for a really long time now. So unfortunately, I've mostly had to try to learn to live with them. Today is, well, I mean, probably at least partially my fault. In terms of, I was outside a lot yesterday and the air quality is garbage. And I was very active yesterday. I may have gotten dehydrated. I don't know, but maybe. And if I did, it didn't help when I got home. I decided I was tired and wanted to have a beer, and that probably didn't help at all. So, there's that sort of thing. There's hormonal stuff. And weather stuff. And I don't know. It is what it is. But I'm functioning and I'm upright, so we're all good. And yeah, I'm just sort of like gonna fuss around with a few things and see what I want to incorporate in here and where I might want to incorporate it. I think that one can go. Rule that out right away. Got some little guys that are just textural. I've got some images, some old illustration of some dancers. I picked everything out for like some particular reason based on like my concept with this piece. I even have this little, it's some kind of accounting thing from an old business that existed, 1959. And I just like the line item list because this to me is about like being overwhelmed and scatterbrained and all of those things. So having like the line item list of the things that almost don't mean anything going on. This funky little image here that is a tiny little body. Here, hold it up here. If it can focus. Will you focus? Come on, camera. Maybe, maybe not. A little, sort of. Okay. So it's a little like shadow guy, and it's like neck, trunk, loins, pelvis. I don't even remember what it's from, but I think, well, I was thinking about it in the sense that stress can have somatic, like it can exhibit itself somatically with like neck pain, back, like all the pains and things. So that might better fit into another piece that I've been working on. So I'm gonna put that one to the side. This little umbrella piece, I just sort of liked the contrast of the pattern and the colors, as well as the concept of an umbrella. Oh, also, I've been mentioning on multiple streams about how I was trying to make a shirt, and I made the shirt. I'm actually wearing it, and nobody can look too close at it because my stitching makes Shein look like Prada. It's very terrible, but it didn't fall apart on me. I wore it yesterday out of the house, and it didn't like completely disintegrate while I was wearing it. So yay, it's a shirt and it's functional. So I'm gonna call it a win. Okay, so looking at these things, I think I kind of want to fit this piece in over here. I don't know if I need all of this gray space on there necessarily, but it can always be just covered up also. And some random little bits of text that I liked. Textures, where shall they go? And this is kind of the fun puzzle. I've used some pieces similar to this one in other pictures where it's like cut out from an old 50s magazine. Thank you for the shirt. Yeah, it is definitely my book a big achievement to actually finally finish it and, you know, get the sewing machine put away from the dining room table. And the more I did it, like, you know, things make more sense the more you do them. So by the time I was doing my last stitches, some things started to make sense, and I would do things differently next time. But hey, I have a shirt. Will I do another one? I have more fabric. Maybe not. I don't know. It was a rabbit hole for a while. We'll see. So this little lady says, never, never, never have you ever looked so alive, so lovely, so alive. And I think that's kind of funny because I also have this text here that's about like starting your morning and right out of the shower where you do your best thinking. So they're kind of, they both be a little bit tongue-in-cheek. So I kind of like that. You know, all of these kind of go with that. I don't know, this text or whatever. I really like it for some reason. It's taken out of context from some article. I'm not sure if it fits here, but I kind of like it. Maybe. Put this to the side for a moment. Is there something else over here that I stuck below my scissors? Change your life. Okay, maybe. This might be, this is like receipt paper from those old calculators on the roll thing. You can tell. I don't know if that will get a little bit see-through if it's wet, but then of course it'll dry at some point. I don't know. So just looking at where everything goes. It is definitely a puzzle. Will it be your fault? I really like this one too. Which was from some really sexist 1950s or 60s magazine ad. about costing your husband money because you didn't choose the right floor wax or something. Pretty sure it was something like that, if I recall correctly. Maybe. Just trying to clean up my, cut it out just real roughly, like rough and fast, and just throw it in my little bin. So I'll make it a little straighter. Definitely not going to perfection. It'll be your fault. There's a lot of stuff I'm looking at putting in right now. I don't know. It's all gonna make the cut. I've already kind of edited out a bunch of things already. And I kind of want to get this layer down before I add any more paint or anything, because these will contribute to the overall colors of what's happening on the piece, and that will change what I think for the next step. So I get most of this in here so that parts of it will be covered. Shine at the time. That might be a little too much, that kind of thing. Get quiet when I'm thinking. I'm trying to talk through my thought process. Just so you know while you're watching what I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I'm also just kind of deciding too. Am I liking it? Is it working for me? Definitely don't like how straight this edge is, even though I'll probably get some of it covered up anyway. Something like this. That looks better. Let's do this. Puzzle. I don't have anything coming all in here yet. And I think that anything that I put over here in terms of collage is going to be a little smaller in scale. Things are going to be bigger and more bombastic as they get further out, which makes for a very a bit of an uncomfortable composition, because you're going to have things vying for the weight piece a little bit, but then when I go back in and add some gesso on top, yes, I'm always game to hear an idea. By all means, what have you got? Let me know. What are you thinking? I'll take a little sip of water and destroy this little piece. Some of that is in here upside down. It's an unrecognizable bit. Cat toy in my pocket. That's random. When I look at the piece, I know your intention is the chaos of the thought in the mind. At least that's my interpretation of what you said. The way that you put the text is too ordered. I need chaos. Ah, yes. Good point. Good point. I like that. Yeah, I got everything kind of like on a grid. Let's see. So maybe push it a little bit then. Okay. There it is. Stack that here somewhere. My cameras. I'm gonna move my face cam so you see more. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Come on. Select the thing that I'm looking on. There we go. Okay. Move this down here. I'm not really working in that corner too much. Okay. Just pull it off the frame a little bit there. Okay. Something like that. Yeah, a lot of these things are sort of like cut into squares. That one might not work that big a case. That's straight. This one I might keep straight. And then just jumble up the edges of it. And kind of like I did there, I think maybe, what if I cut this a couple times? Those lines. Yes, I see slapstick randomness, no thinking. That's the point. The layers, the out of control element. The top corner with the girl in the bed. That's where I feel order and control in a way. The strokes around her have straightness to them, so that makes sense to me. Again, just ideas. Yeah, yes, I appreciate your feedback. It helps to have somebody to be like, wait, did you think about this thing? And so it kind of forces you to step back, which is hard to do sometimes when you're just doing. Let me think here. Maybe kind of. Sort of like that might be a good place to go with it. Oh, let's see. Looking at my screen there with that removal of space. Okay. This listing bit. Simplify that down a little further. Breaking up that text block has already made it look great. Oh, thank you. I think that was, yeah, everything being very much blocks. That once you pointed that out to me, you're very correct, and it's like, yeah, that's something that needs to change. Let's see. This more than I have. As the paper is naturally curling up here, this is giving me some ideas. Maybe it becomes another like tendril coming down and out. Yeah, exactly. Kind of an additional little octopus tentacle there. The same thing happen here, going another direction a little bit. these lines. Get the scissors, yeah. I was thinking, at first I thought maybe I can just have it be curled, but I think I gotta fold it and tape it down like this. But just because of the nature of the paper, even if I cover it with my adhesive or Mod Podge, I don't know how well, yeah, it's not actually Mod Podge, whatever that is, but something like that. I'm not sure how well that would maintain. So I think I'm just going to kind of like imply it. Oh, not master. So far from master, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. All right, I think we're onto something here. All right, I'm gonna be smart about my adhesive applying, and we're gonna go from a palette and a brush. Assuming that I'm not clogged up like I often am. Almost bought some more of this, but really, there's still like half this bottle left. It's just you go in the art supply store and you see the things and you're like, oh, I should get that, and I should get that, and I should get that, and then you remember you have a budget, and then you stop yourself. But yeah, I did go in. I went into a kind of localish art supply store that's just like family-owned place that's been around for a long time. It's like a print shop slash art supplies. It's not in my town. It's a little ways out of the way, but yeah, it was great. And some things are too expensive to buy there. Some things were a good deal, so you kind of have to be just careful with your money. But yeah, I always have this like running list in the back of my mind of the things that I want and or need. And I always think that I need things that I want also, which is also a problem sometimes. But yeah, a couple of brushes I picked up. Because after my last stream, I was very like, I don't know, not thinking, and I left my brush for a few days in my water jar. Just totally spaced on it, didn't wash the brush, left it sit there. And it was pretty well wrecked. So I had to throw away that brush, which does not make me a happy person, but unfortunately, that's the thing about not taking care of your stuff. Found a store nearest to me that stocks all our supplies, like all. It's almost a warehouse. I would love to hit that place up. Nice, that's exactly what you want. Knowing that there are places like that near you is priceless. I am painting in cat hair. Put that out there. Ah, that's in his furs everywhere. And somehow he managed to not leave a paw print when he jumped into this during my last stream. What? Let's be involved in things. Okay. Good. This old news magazine print can be very delicate, so be a little careful with it. Sort of place that sells all tins and individual pencils or markers, so if you need a set or a refill, you're good. Nice. And the weird thing is, the place that I was into had a really big section, like it was just amazing selections of art supplies, but then this huge section of, what are they called? Those little miniatures that people paint for the game of some sort. Warhammer or something like that. They had like this whole entire section of the store dedicated to the models and the model painting. It's kind of crazy. Each their own thing, and I don't care what you do. If you're creative and you love what you're doing, do it. I've seen pictures of those things that are nuts and really amazing. So, all the better. Warhammer miniatures, yeah, okay. That was, think I got there. Sort of close-ish. I don't know these things. I did play Magic the Gathering back when I was like in high school, but not much else besides that in terms of the nerdy games and things. A couple of very successful Warhammer dedicated stores in Melbourne with fantastic creative centers. Oh, I bet. You know, there's something about seeing the things that people create, no matter how they are or aren't directly related to what you do. It seems to me that I find that there's something you can take from about anything that somebody else is doing creatively and kind of take and learn and be inspired by. There's always something to be learned. That's so cool to me. I just love it. I don't do miniatures yet, but I want to do deep frame dioramas. Ooh. Now that sounds very cool and interesting. I think I probably wouldn't. I'm not good at detail. Like I'm not a great mind for detail. I should never have a copy editing job. But I have so much respect for the people that do those things and make them so incredible. So many amazingly talented people doing the things that I could never dream of doing, and I love that about our world and about artists and creativity. So much cool stuff. So many things that we can be inspired by that have nothing to do with what we do. Ideas come from everywhere. As a random thing, when I go to a therapist that I see about every week, when I go to where her office is, it's part of a medical system, so it's like a whole clinic thing. Her office has this, in the waiting room, this massive dollhouse, and it is behind this case, securely behind this case that has lights, and it's all like wired with lights, and it's on sensors, so when you walk past when you come into the waiting room and go up to the desk to check in, the lights all come on. It's insane. And then I can see that they have, like, I've never really gone up and examined it, but they have publications that are talking about this dollhouse. Apparently it's some thing, I mean, but it's huge and nuts, and wow, people are insane. There are still skills and knowledge that cross all the boundaries, absolutely. That's what's fun. That's why I decided I no longer am going to ever feel bad or apologetic about my random rabbit holes. It's something that I mentioned in past streams, I think even just last week, where it's like, jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing, but 100 times better than master of one. It all feeds into us. So even though my desire to learn how to do epoxy and resin didn't ultimately go anywhere besides I have finished countertop in my bathroom with cat prints on it and a few weirdo little charm things that I made that aren't very good. It's something that I experimented with and tried and learned from, whatever. Didn't work out to be like my thing, but still incorporates that knowledge into what we do. On some level, it's helping me out, and I believe that. So, yeah, I don't think there's any wasted efforts in terms of learning skills. Right now I have this like burning desire to buy a sander. Part of it is because I'd like to finally get those cat prints out of my countertop in my bathroom, but part of it's just because, more tools. Even though I don't have like a garage or anywhere to put tools, but yay, fun tools and things. And a jigsaw, that's another one. I always think, man, I'm gonna like build frames for myself one day. I'm gonna just DIY that crap. But it doesn't always happen that way. Just don't have the space for it to work with tools and wood and lumber, but eventually. The silence that followed out of burning desire to buy a sander. Yes, let your imagination fill in the gaps, I guess. So many possibilities. All right, we're coming along. I'm going to need to refill my glue here in a second. All right, one more go. Okay, I got a little. Okay, yes, we're good. We're good. Yeah, I think if I had a garage full of tools, I would have, let's be real, I'd have so many ideas and intentions. That's what I would have. Just like every other area of my life. So many ideas and intentions. Not always a whole lot of energy and follow through necessarily, but at some point, all those things would come in handy. Okay, last guy to glue down. There is a gnat in here. Where he came from. My cat isn't in here. I think he's napping in the other room, but he's really good at catching critters like that. I saw him catch a fly with like zero effort one day. Just amazing. Because half the time that he chases after a toy, he'd like run straight on into the furniture. So when he does something really, really amazing like that, it's like, are you the same cat that's been living here in the last year and a half? Full of surprises. Alright, almost there. Just that top layer, I'll seal the deal. Okay. So at least for now, possibly for all of this, I think that's all I need for, that might be all I need for collage. Have to check my corners and stuff. Got it. Just might have it. Okay, and that won't take long to dry. That dries about as fast as like acrylic paint does. Pretty fast. And the next thing, I think might be a little bit, I might go with the gesso next. Or at least some gesso next. Yes, and I have a good reminder this week. Definitely take care of your brushes. What happened to mine is the water was high enough that it went up over the metal piece, and the finish started to just crack apart on here, and it was just too much more damage than I could reasonably figure out how to deal with, and the brush was kind of just toast, and that was my fault. That is, I think, what you might call the ADHD tax. The expensive things that happen because you're just not always on top of everything and distracted by other things. Okay, trying to stay hydrated today too. As should everybody if it's hot. I think wherever about everyone is anymore. These days, it's quite hot around here. Not too bad today, but we still have all the windows and doors closed here because, again, the air quality is not great. Okay, so where is gesso? Almost dry. Ugh. The one thing that I didn't have sitting out right next to me on the desk. And I love this stuff. Some time ago, they were having a really good sale on gessos and these materials at Blick. And that's when I bought this super heavy 32 ounce, almost 1,000 milliliters of super heavy gesso. And it's like plaster. I mean, it's not coming out of there. You gotta scoop it out. Really good stuff. And I'm also, besides using it as a textural element on top of my like watercolor type pieces, chilly 50 degrees Fahrenheit here. Oh, a little jealous. That's my kind of weather. I'm so hot. But yeah, what was I saying? I'm losing my train of thought, as I always do. Yes, preparing canvases. I would like to start doing a better job of preparing my canvases. I often just buy like pre-stretched, pre-gessoed pieces, and would kind of like to start, even if I get those, doing like an extra layer of gesso on it, giving it a nice sand so it's a little bit of a nice smoother finish to work on. Okay, so now I am adding, I'm just sort of using my palette knife. I'm just doing like this layer of scraped on gesso, which kind of blocks out the things beneath it. It's just white. Wait. I do this. This has sort of become a part of my process on these pieces that are started on watercolor paper. It allows me a bit of control over what is drawing attention, what is like carrying a lot of contrast and weight. And I don't know if I'm gonna finish it this time. I will probably do the gesso on this piece in a few different layers. Given the way that this one is coming together. There's so much stuff pop culturally right now about the Barbie almost like craze having to do with that movie coming out, Barbie movie, which I hate to admit I'm kind of fascinated by. Part of me wants to see it. Part of me hates myself for wanting to see it. But the one thing that I can appreciate about it is the super resurgence in very obnoxious pink colors as a trendy thing. And I kind of love that. It's just loud and crazy and obnoxious colors are, you know, I just happy. And everything is so often so many neutrals in terms of what's going on with fashion and home decor and everything. It's so neutral heavy all the time, it seems like. I am way an outsider and have no interest in it, especially as a movie lover. Yeah, I think that it's probably going to be... I'm not expecting it to be a good thing, but I'm like curious, I guess, just about the... Like, what are they doing with this material? Is it... seems to be that there's more going on there than just like it's a kid's movie about toy as a real character. So I'm not sure if the humor is just going to be very one-dimensional stuff, or if they're actually going to have some interesting commentary built into it. I haven't exactly done a lot of digging or anything about it. It's also inescapable right now, and this is coming from somebody who's really good at being oblivious about what's happening in pop culture, and has been that way for the majority of my life. I have some personal thoughts on it that just stopped me from seeing it. I can certainly understand that. I think it's interesting to me when some people make arguments about Barbie being like a feminist thing. And I don't know, maybe in the sense that she was, as a doll, given these careers and things over time, but in terms of female role model, I'm not so sure. I think that the body image is exceptionally problematic and has been for a long time. I think that maybe they did some things to change that or adjust for that, but I don't really know. These are not the things that I have kept up on personally a whole lot. But, speaking of movies, I did see a very interesting movie this week called Baskin. And it's spelled like Baskin Robbins Baskin. And it's a Turkish movie. And it's a horror film. It is a trip. Looks amazing, head scratcher, and it kind of fit with, like last week I talked about how I'd just seen Mad God, and this sort of fit in with the themes of that. And it's got, this logic that's really, there's things about it that are incredibly clever and really kind of mess with your head quite a bit. So I would actually strongly recommend that movie. It's potentially pretty disturbing, I guess, depending on your tolerance for such things, but yeah, very interesting. And I don't think that Turkish filmmakers, there's not a ton of horror coming out. That's not like a big genre of that area. So it is very interesting. It is a very interesting film. Some of the cultural elements of it. And that's something I do love about like foreign movies, that you see other places' versions of what is scary or whatever your genre of choice is. Some of the cultural norm stuff that you get from it. I know Barbie's business art from when I was studying business and art history, to me, speaks of the ideal woman, yeah. This is their stunt to change public perception that they're old school. I see this movie as corporate stunt wrapped in actual important cultural values, and it doesn't change the fact that there is only one Barbie, and they will still push the idea that and sell it. It's still money to them, and that's why I just can't give in to watching it. To me, it's a Lego movie rewrapped for girls. And I have to admit, I've never seen any Lego movies. But you're probably right. It's probably just ultimately about selling more products. I mean, it's definitely about that. Given that it's like a Mattel movie. And here's another interesting thing about toy makers and movies. Ouija boards are owned by Hasbro Toys, I think, right? And people are constantly make movies with Ouija boards in them. But the term Ouija is trademarked by them at this point. So now you start seeing them called spirit boards, but there are movies that came out not all that long ago called Ouija, and I wonder if they had Hasbro's permission or involvement. Barbie is extremely strict with perceptions of their dolls. A movie to be made, you can know the company directly had their heads all up in that pie. Oh, I'm sure it's their product. They want to control the image of it. I imagine you are very correct. I want to spend time watching movies that people love to make, like Nolan, or right down to the bad B-grade horror. Yeah, and I do want to see Oppenheimer. I think that looks really, really interesting. Everything I've read about it, which is very little, maybe a few headlines that show up in my news feeds, sounds really, really interesting. I really want to see that movie. I will admit I haven't seen a movie in a movie theater since, I don't know, did I see a movie in a movie theater in 2019? Maybe one? I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure. But yeah, we mostly just watch things on the TV at home. Can't stream it, we're not probably watching it anytime soon. And I'm done, sorry. Just a personal point of view. Don't apologize for that. You're right about all of it. Yeah, I think it might be interesting to like read about that, because I do always enjoy going back and reading the history of random things and how they relate to our world today. Like the history of handbags or pockets and clothes, like both of those kind of relate to each other. But it's kind of messed up when you get into some of that stuff. I know, right? I used to go to the movies all the time, once a month. I haven't been in so long, it's way too expensive here for me to go. One person plus popcorn and drink is $40. I can't imagine it's much different from that here. I think the tickets are around $18, $20 a person, unless you're like on a matinee. That's still even a thing. And yeah, the concessions are insane. Just insane. Yeah, I'd rather, pop my own popcorn and sit at home in the comfort of my own house. I don't care about something being IMAX or 3D or whatever. In fact, I kind of hate when movies are in 3D. I don't think I see it right. I have a really hard time like focusing on what you're supposed to be seeing. It just messes with me. I don't know. I don't like it. So I will avoid seeing a movie in 3D in the past when I have seen it, because you have to see it this way. We're all going to see it, and you're coming with, and no thanks. Over that. Way over that one. Okay. So let's see, I think first layer of gesso is pretty much just about there. That was weird. Thought I heard my cat jump up on something, but apparently it's just a ghost. So a few days ago, I can't remember what day. Yeah, I have to get up and move, yes. And that was sitting still for that long. And being able to like pause the movie and take a break and go take care of whatever you need to. I just see no reason to go to the movie theater anymore. And I was so happy when they started releasing movies right onto streaming services and kind of getting away from that after things opened up again. But it was fun while it lasted. A few days ago, I can't remember what day it was, I got home and my cat is being weird. He keeps looking in a direction, being all like freaked out about whatever he thinks he sees over there. And there's nothing, like, there's nothing there. And then my partner is like, hey, look at that picture on the wall. It looks normal, right? You don't see anything weird. Look at the one next to it. Don't you see like some warbling happening in front of it? And I couldn't, for the life, see what he was trying to say he saw. And he thinks that that's what the cat is seeing too. And I was like, do we have a ghost here, or are y'all doing something when I'm not home that I would like to know about? Yeah, I didn't see anything, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a ghost. I doubt it. Don't tend to buy into such things too much. Haunted. You should invite Ghost Adventures to place and let them scream stupid shit in your dark rooms. Yeah. Try to talk to the ghost and record it. And then make something fall and everybody's terrified. Makes themselves scared. I cannot stand those shows. It's all just like watching, I don't know how long they are, an hour? An hour of a bunch of guys freaking themselves out. Did you try to watch it? Oh, 10 minutes. You know, that's not so bad if you got 10 minutes into it. That's not so bad. Okay, so we got a layer of collage, and I've got a layer of gesso on here. This over a little bit, and let's think about what's going to be next. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit so I can pull it off. Sorry. The other way and try to show more of my picture. There. Yeah, you don't need to see so much of my messy studio. Okay. So we're getting somewhere, but there's still a long way to go. Yep. Alaska because Dude climbs into a morgue freezer where they have bodies on, and you close the little door. It's in this old AF place, got graffiti in it, and he says, "Ooh, I just got real cool." I'm telling you, it's an hour of grown men freaking themselves out, or at least pretending to freak themselves out. I don't know. I think this shtick gets old real fast, personally. That's just me. So I got my old little sets of gray pals or oil pastels or whatever you like to call them. I got these guys over here, and also grab some of my colored pencils and my ink markers I have on hand too. So all these things I can pull in. Joe, hi, how are you? Many cool moments, man. Thank you. Pikachu face relief. Are you sure it's not the that you're trying to lie on? That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe that's like for people who kind of like to get a little bit scared but aren't really comfortable with scary movies. Maybe that's like your safe space. Get a little freaked out but not feel very like threatened by anything. I don't know. That could be it, perhaps. Alright, let's see. What do I want to pull in next? One of the things by kind of adding that layer on here and cutting out that, just the blankets of colors that were happening. Cutting it out, basically. Visually cutting it up. There was a lot of orange and green. It was very orange and green heavy. Because I was trying to counterbalance like the pinks and the purples going on here, but it was a little too much for sure. Let me find some markers. Bugs here. I also recently bought a new art supply because I'm hopeless and I need to stop. I really need to stop at this point. I haven't even opened it yet. But these are paint markers that are actually oil-based. So I could use these when I'm using oil paint, and I'm really excited to kind of try that. And I was just talking to my friend about this. Everything is all like, look, you can paint on rocks with this. Apparently that's a thing. Rock painting, painting on rocks. All the trends, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, come on, come on. All right, I was just creating drips. That got weird. Oh, what's happening? Am I buffering? What's going on? I locked up. Okay. I think, can you guys see me? It looks like my screen is buffering on my streaming page, but I think I might be alright. I don't know. Let me know if you don't see if I'm frozen. Okay, anyway. Rock painting is huge, has been for a while. When I lived in New Zealand, people left them on walking trails and in parks, etc. Yeah, my friend was telling me that that was like a very popular thing. I had to realize. Alright, one more drip. I see you fine. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. There's just for a while on my screen where I'm actually like setting up the where I'm running the stream from was just like the circle spinning, so don't always know what's happening. Hope for the best sometimes. Alright. Placing in some pastels. What do we got? What do we got? I have these two sets. This is all that I own for oil pastels right now. For these two tiny little sets. And they were both things that had been my dad's. And they're both similar. Different manufacturers, but a very similar little set of like 12 colors. But there are a few differences between them in terms of the color they have. Like the light green is more yellow in that one, more minty in this one. That's a darker dark green. This one's more intense. So there's kind of some fun, subtle variations, but they also have a lot of similarities too. And yeah, the brown's a little bit different. This one has a pink and this one doesn't. This one has gray. So, you know, still pays to have them both. Like one is from North Korea, or made in Korea, not Korea, just Korea. This one is Japan. So, yeah, who knows? Okay, I think we could use some more blue in this guy. I like this one. None of them say what colors they are. Oh no, this set has numbers on them, which must have meant something. Number 7, number 29, number 136. And I'm just saying I got splashes over here. Let's make a thing out of it. Gesso's still a little wet over here, so we can kind of blend in with it a little bit with the pastel. It sort of gives a nice little effect there. Okay, I want to start creating things happening in here and pulling out. So I don't have it all exactly worked out in my head exactly what that's going to be, so it's sort of just going to be a trial and error. We're just going to try stuff, see what I like, see what's working, and make adjustments. And I'm okay with covering some of the little drawings I've done here. I got these super detailed. I can zoom in a little bit so you can see these like very little detailed pen sketches of these tendrils. Right, there we go, back. Yeah, and we don't need to see the whole thing. Like, I didn't even fill them in all the way. Doing a few scribbles right now. I like to, with the Posca markers, they give you nice lines generally. Then if you kind of like push down a little bit while you're drawing with them, you get this little pool of paint that you can kind of push around. Could have done, my intention was to do a little bit more planning out ahead of time, but just as things go, I didn't get it done because today was just trying to get through with a stupid headache. But yeah, now that I'm actually working on this, these little bits of folded paper, because it's white on white at the moment, get a little bit lost, but I might be able to pull some color onto them a little bit subtly and let the texture play out as things go along. Or we'll just add more layers. Okay. Brain's going, thinking. I got these Artistro markers some time ago, and there was a stream where I talked a lot about experimenting with these. I'm not sure exactly which one it was. It's when I was working on the set of small paintings, and I like them a lot. They're one thing that I've noticed going back and using them from time to time is that once you've used them, the paint can dry on the tips of it and kind of block the flow. So I have to go back in and like try to get them wet and soften it up again. So that is the one downfall of these. I've never had that kind of problem with the Posca markers. they do still work. They're not unusable at that point. It just takes a little bit more more planning and doing, less grab and go, perhaps. One thing that I like that happened here is that adding all this white in kind of made this element, this painted element in the corner, become a little more subtle. Not as obvious that she's there. It's like something that you will have to just catch and see it when you're looking. I do have to admit, I really like all the colors that these guys came in though. That's one of the pluses of the set Artistro paint markers. It came in like 40 some colors. Yep, that was very wet. Okay, this guy's kind of out a little bit. See if I can get him going. This is the thing I don't like. Colors are great. Sometimes it's hard to get it going. Got the scrap paper over here. Yep. Yeah, almost. Come on. Shaking it, trying to press down on the tip to get it flowing. Just getting a really light, not getting a nice flow on it, so. All right. So much for that one. For now, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore at the moment. Okay. So what else would be good on here? I think, okay. Grab a pen again. I'm going to, I don't want the really tiny one. I don't know if I want a brush. Should have some .08s, but I don't see it here at the moment. There's one. I'm going to do some writing on it. Maybe where? I don't want the ink to be too close to what I have up here. It's thicker point, but I don't want it to be exactly the same. Let's see. Okay. It's not looking so well either. Time for some new markers pretty soon. These pens. I think I've had these mostly for a very long time. Okay, maybe we'll go with the brush. And where do I put it? It's just there. Okay. Second try. Hi, Mary Beth. How are you? Kind of just making a mess right at the moment. I'm gonna add a little masking tape on this leg because I want to kind of overlap where it is without actually getting any marker on her. So just kind of a rough little masking there. You don't have to be super careful. Anybody working on any interesting projects today or this week? What's everybody got going on for creative stuff? I always mean to ask that, and then I just get sidetracked. But yeah, what's everybody working on today? Frazzle, just too much to do today. I hear you. That's how I feel way more of the time than I would like. Hopefully the rest of the week will be a little easier and go a little smoother. That's pretty much what I wanted to achieve with that. Struggling with some mental stuff, so sitting down to do art now is harder than I want it to be, even though it helps. Yeah, it does help, but it can be hard to just get yourself to do the thing and make the time. But I hope that you start feeling better. If I can help with anything, by all means, let me know. Just practicing watercolor. I did 2 little paintings today in the yard. Just couldn't get out. Well, couldn't decide. Though I have nice flowers and an apple tree. So there you have it. Nice. Working on a piece that is about overwhelmed. Yeah, hey. That's good. That's, it's a great way to process. Art is a fantastic form of therapy. No doubt about that. I bought some time ago some gesso. I keep meaning to experiment with that, and I have yet to even open it up. I keep on doing things. And the funny thing is, I was talking about that with actually my therapist last week. She's like, continuing to take on the new things and hobbies and tasks and skills you want to learn sometimes is a way of distracting ourselves from already being overwhelmed. It's like, well, that sure makes things better on ourselves, doesn't it? Very, very helpful thing to do. It's kind of funny. Okay. I'm going to get out a few more pieces of some stuff to cut up, maybe. Because I would like to incorporate more little bits of things into here. You don't understand, this piece is inspired by Caravaggio. Oh my goodness. After learning about him this week, and so the standard I'm expecting this thing to be is out beyond Pluto. Oh no, this piece is not going to help with overwhelm. See, my great logic works. Well, is it the piece that you have to do right now? Like, is there a time commitment to it? Because if it's not going to help that, but if there is a time commitment to it, I guess just focus on maybe something that you can do that doesn't, some element that you can do a little bit mindlessly, maybe. I love the writing scribbles on this piece. Oh, I'm I was making it as somebody who is always thinks myself, even as well as all the people that have always said, have you tried a planner? Yes, I've tried 5,000 planners. I have 6,000 of them here right now. And so that's all. It's like kind of trying to keep straight the dates, the times, all the things that are overwhelming. And that's all. That's everything that that is. That on there. Ah. A little bit's running away from me. Yeah, I might do something. I have an old plane ticket in here because it seems like it might come in handy at some point. Just haven't found the right place for it yet. You're studying anatomy right now, and that's a big part of it, so I'm trying to work it together. Oh, well, Caravaggio has an interesting take on anatomy, that's for sure. The one planner I stick with is Notion. Yes, I've been trying Notion. I've gone through so many different planners, both physical and digital, but Notion lets me do whatever whatever you want. And it's true, I like that about Notion. I did get a few templates from another YouTuber, actually. I talked about it in my last vlog video. But, what is this? No. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good possibilities there, and I would like to keep using it. I haven't set it up as specifically a planner. I have like content calendar on there and more things along those lines, like goals, business goals, expense sheets, those types of things, more so. But yeah, I like the possibilities with Notion. Just saw something. I bought a pack of ephemera ages ago. And these stickers were some random thing that were in there. And I think they have something to do with scrapbooking. I really have no idea, and I have no idea what I was ever going to do with them, but I used a couple of them. Yeah, I think Notion has a lot of potential. The only one thing that I found annoying, though, is actually trying to use it on my iPad. I find that to be a little bit annoying. You have it set up as your art studio where you put all your work into a gallery. Oh, you brainstorming, inspiration, study schedule, and plan the whole shebang. That sounds pretty great. I started doing some of that, and I kind of haven't followed through on really doing it, like really having it that way. You see this lady? They're exasperated cake maker. Kind of like that. Kind of love that. All right, that might be enough to start with as I keep pulling more things out. If you incorporate any collage into stuff you do, I highly recommend having a couple bins of dedicated stuff and ideas that you can kind of go to. This is my everything container, and then I have a separate one that's all specifically text stuff that I've cut out. She is having some kind of cake trauma, that's for sure. She is just exasperated. I kind of love it. Those are the things that I absolutely adore, finding in old magazines when I can get my hands on them. Yeah, sugar corn pops with cowboy on it. But trying to get this little guy to, there we go, focus. And this one is my favorite, and come on, you can focus, come on. There we go. You see this? It's a box of Sugar Smack cereals from Kellogg, and the box has a clown on it. I mean, tell me this isn't just gold right here. Just this one little thing, it's just straight gold. And it could work for this piece. I will sit on it for a moment. It's terrifying, right? That's kind of why I love it. Alright, let's get some of these ridiculous rubber duckies. Why do they have a hole in them? Like, what is that for? What is the purpose? And I assume they're stickers. I think they're stickers. No? Are they not? What is... Oh, yeah, there we are. Maybe? Yes, it's a sticker. I don't know why it has a hole. Is that from an ad? Where do I have to buy it? That was from one of my old, like, I got them here. Still need to go through some, and I should actually make a stream out of it. One of my old Life magazines that I have, like, 51, 53, 54, and then, so it might have come from one of these, or else I have a couple of old, like, Women's Day magazines from about the same era. And the ads in these things are just absolute gold. Absolute gold. I find so much wonderful stuff, and that's like the reason I really want to try to find them. My Moby Dick thing, though, is getting a hold of some 1990s women's and girls magazines, like the Sassies and the 17s and Cosmopolitans. That's my Moby Dick. I would like to find those because I think that I will have, they are just, from what I remember of them, full of gold. Just absolute fodder for my artwork to work with. And if I could find them, I would be a very happy artist girl. But I don't know. I really don't understand why these have holes in them. What they're meant to be for or from, but there. Now she's got some rubber duckies going on. Mind. They're sufficiently ridiculous. Okay. Alright, well, we definitely need Cake Lady. Let me attempt to do a decent job of cutting her out a little bit. At least part of her. I don't want all this white stuff. That's when they were selling crimp curlers and hair gem stickers and the magic wand pull thing where you loop your hair through the ponytail. Absolute trash. Yeah, I remember that wand thing. I do remember that. And crimpers, I remember having one of those. I don't necessarily remember using it, but I remember that we owned one. Pretty sure that I used it at some point, probably junior high age. I mean, just how awful everything was in terms of how we were valued. Lip gloss for days. But yeah. Like now, the ads at least pretend to have some sense of like respect for people not trying to necessarily be plastic, fit into a stencil of what you're supposed to be like, who you are, what your body type should be, who you should be trying to please, all that kind of stuff. So much gloss, it's like high beam headlights in your face. Yes. Ah, the 90s. In the 80s too. I wouldn't mind getting a hold of some 80s ones as well. They're all hard to find. Really hard to find. I don't know if just not many people kept them. Probably not a lot of people kept them. But there's got to be a treasure trove of them out somewhere, just right for the picking. And I just don't know exactly where to find them. I keep my eyes open, try to frequent the occasional thrift store in the area. So just never know. But I have not been lucky yet. I bought some more recent ones, like some from just a few years ago, through Bacardi, something like that. Yeah, big time stereotype days, and that's exactly why I want to get a hold of them. And just the aesthetic of that time period. Just a wee bit of cringe. But then, you know what? Early 2000s through 2010, there's plenty of cringe going on there as well. And these time periods start to gel together in my head. Like the 2000s and the 90s. Sometimes I forget which things came from which time, outside of if I specifically am tying it to like when I was in high school or college or out of college or something. Without something that ties me directly to it, I don't place it up. But like I said, I've always kind of done my best to maybe not be exactly on top of things when it came to pop culture. That is one case where saying ignorance is bliss. That is kind of the truth. At least for me. Or at times. Like not knowing what the new pop songs were. Never bothered me not knowing about that kind of thing. Or what was necessarily fashionable. I mean, I saw a picture of me last week from high school. Not exactly ever going for prom queen or anything with my fashion choices. I mean, what fun is that? Okay. Now these candles, I'm trying to cut out around those a little bit. We'll see how this goes. Not my favorite part of any of this, but every now and again, just tearing the paper doesn't quite do it justice. So, by the way, these are really long birthday candles on that cake. So it's borderline dangerous. Alright, so close. Let's cut off the candle. this is the kind of thing where, like, I'm having a day where my hands are a little shakier. It's really, really impossible to do. But yeah, this is where I'm at right now. They're kind of focused on it a little bit. I think that's probably good enough. Let me just get around this one leg, and then we're just gonna go ahead and adhere her down. And this isn't even like what I was intending to do at the moment, but I found her and I'm like, yes, she must be included. Just bring her right into it. And if I do this, trying to decide if I'm okay with this white paper on that side. To impress with your scissor cutting, I would have to use a blade and still cut something off. I came really close to it. The trick of it is, for me, just like not being that concerned about a perfect job. If I really wanted to get between every finger well and, really cleanly between the candles and that sort of thing, then yeah, a blade is probably the more exact way to do it. And there are applications with using collage where really exact cutting really matters. But I am pretty trying to be pretty like open about how I feel towards perfectionism, and I worked really, really hard at letting go of the expectations that things need to be perfect to be okay. And that's been for, mental health and for my ability to keep creating, so I don't get, frozen and stuck on the fear of even starting a project. Which took me a really long time to realize that paralysis, getting something going, of working on something, or even after you've started it, just getting to a point where you just can't continue. That is like a form of perfectionism. It's like fear of not trusting what you're going to do with it, what you're going to do next. Not being sure. The way that I work leans heavily into letting the process dictate the artwork. Like, I have my intentions and my decision making based on, what I want, what I do want to control in certain areas about the way the color is, or focal point value, things like that to some extent. But I'm also really, really okay with letting it being intuitive and a mess, and letting it happen, just letting it happen. A little more glue in here again. Glue brush, here we go. this is really, I often end up using my fingers to apply glue, but this is really the better way to do it because it's a lot easier to control the amount and not put on too much where you get a lot of the bubbling when you're a little more careful with it. Especially for these magazine papers. They're very sensitive to moisture and they buckle a lot. Right, there she is. Alright, I don't want to leave the brush in there, but leave it out because what my intention was about working with some bits up here. Some little guys I'm gonna cut out here also. This one is not so complicated. It's like this little, like a cartoon mask. Get this to focus. So I'm cutting out that little, it looks like a doll head mask. Here I am doing more ridiculous cutting. It would probably be a lot faster to do this with a blade. That's another thing. But almost there. This part, yeah. Maybe about the absolute balance. I agree with that. Deciding what to control and what not to control. And sometimes in some pieces, like depending on what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, those things will ebb and flow about which one you need more or less of. Sometimes you need a lot more control about what you're doing. All right, where she will go. Maybe a little further to the edge here. Color in a little bit. I've got oil pastel there. So hear her on the paper and then the oil pastel. What? I think that was okay. Some of these things are so like tiny and small in the grand scheme of the piece, but they're also, for as much as I'm talking about like not being worried about controlling everything, they're deliberate decisions still. What I am including, what I am not, how I'm doing so. Still thinking about that, my little cereal clown guy. Still thinking about it. Alright. This piece is might be a little more pastel. I really want to add on up here. almost, I like that it's like the different colors. I like that it's a little bit graphic when I cut it out. Yeah, there's glue on it. I like taking weird graphical elements out of context in the magazines too, because I think if I remember correctly, both of these were nail polishes. It was like examples of nails painted in these different colors from an ad. Pretty sure. It's kind of hard to tell that when you take this little narrow cross section from it. Throw it on there. Yeah, I like that. I think I like that as an element moment. There's too much black happening right in here altogether between the background on that piece, her skirt, and the text. So I will balance that out here at some point. It's an unplanned kind of thing that sort of starts to happen. You don't necessarily realize it right away, but you're like, yeah, that's not working, but luckily I can make adjustments as I go. Need to be a little careful working here because this pen is not entirely watertight. If it gets too wet around it, it can definitely blur and smear. So I'm just going to be a little gentle about applying the glue wherever it touches. Oh. Apparently that orange paint was still wet. That's alright, works for me. What is it that Bob Ross used to say? Happy accidents. There's no mistakes. What'd you miss? Just adding more stuff. Yeah, I like those coming out. This is kind of like what I want to, just things kind of radiating. It kind of feeds into everything else, as if all of the chaos of this is coming from her mind. So let me see. One of the things I can do to balance out all this black that's happening here that I'm kind of don't want to stay exactly that way is by adding stronger black elements elsewhere, as well as adding other things to break that up a little bit more. Whether that's more gesso or a different color, probably a little bit of both. This piece is going to be too much by itself, I think. So right here. Oh, I actually don't mind that. Let's go with it. can't remember what this was from. This is a little thicker paper. It's kind of weird how some things I remember so clearly where I cut them out from, whether images, text, whatever. And then some things it's just like, no real clue at all. And you can see that the adhesive is a little white kind of sheen to it when I initially paint it on, but it will clear. As it dries, it will be clear. So the black will be a little bit stronger. Okay. Coming along. And next, I am going to dry here. Yeah, this is all dry. So gesso color, I can do color and then add gesso again later also. So maybe something light. Here. Okay, before I do that, I keep knocking into the lamp over here. All right, this is fine. One way to break up the solid shape of the skirt, which kind of creates this little black box, because I'm just going to actually draw a pattern right on it. So that makes it, even though there's still the black shining through, and that still needs to be dealt with a little bit. I think that helps quite a bit. So I'm going to let that dry before I add anything else on top of that. But I'm going to go ahead. Stiff brush here. I don't have any stiff brushes at the moment. What happened? How did that happen? Oh, there's some weird thing. All right, that didn't really completely pull it back because I started to get more coverage than I actually wanted, so it's going to be a little push and pull. Definitely, I'm okay with like the text not being very entirely readable. I sort of like the idea that if somebody really wants to like dig in and try to work at it, they can decipher what things say. But I'm not. It's not about that specifically. so it doesn't need to be like a super strong element. I like this color going on here, so add some more of it in a couple different places. I don't even know where this brush is from. Say anything? USA Olfen is what it says. Half-inch. It's got really heavy bristles. It's maybe a stencil brush or something originally. Perhaps. I like how it's coming together. All right, I gotta head off. Thanks for the stream today and have a great week, everyone. Bye, Ursa. Thanks for joining. Hope your week goes well. Hope things start feeling better for you. Yeah, on that note, I'm realizing that I've been at this for nearly 2 hours. I'm surprised any else still hanging in there watching with me. So yeah, let's see. Is there anything else to do at this point? Oh, there's Watson. Right on time. Here to say hi? Last week he jumped right into my painting, so I'm definitely being a little more careful with it this time. Hey, Stinker Cat. There he is, so you can see. He got his chair, what's become his dedicated Watson chair behind me. He's like my coworker sitting here working with me. He watches his birdie programming while I paint and work. And I didn't put on the birds for him today because when I checked on the last stream, holy cow, that was coming through loud. So, yeah, not gonna have that be the thing. Okay. So there is going to be, I would like a few stronger things happening here to fill this in, and probably 1 or 2 things will be drawn in or something over here. So that's going to be kind of my focuses in terms of what will happen next to kind of pull it together. I do want to really fill all of this in and have it be like directional. And things are stemming from here. And that's really the priority going forward with this. I like the perspective that's happening in the black area. I love Watson. Yeah, he's my sweetie, my silly guy. Yeah, there's that kind of direction. Like things are stemming. It is kind of coming out from her there. So I'm going to really be leaning into that, be leaning into the shapes coming from her head, with things kind of pulling away from her. My paper at this point, I got a lot of buckling happening from all the layers I've been adding in terms of the adhesive and the gesso and other paints. So being about the 2 hour mark nearly of the stream, I think that this is a good point to stop, let the paper settle and dry. We'll pick it up again Thursday morning. I'll have a little bit of a plan going forward, and maybe be able to really kind of wrap it up at that point. That is, I hope, my plan, my intention, my goal. So thank you to everybody for joining and watching and commenting. I really appreciate everybody's feedback and ideas and everything. It helps me a lot. And yeah, it's great. So hope everybody enjoyed, and if you can, join me on Thursday morning at 10 a.m. I'll be at it again and try to wrap this guy up. And after that, might kind of do some spin-offs of some random weird bits, maybe deep dive down some old magazines, sourcing some materials and stuff, and that could be fun too. See some weird stuff in there. So maybe have a great rest of your week, you too, and have a great night, everybody. Good night. Bye.